Welcome to the 2020 New Testament Challenge. Today we begin Revelation chapter 6. This is where the tribulation period begins. Before we start there, though, I need to take you back to Revelation chapter 1, verse 19. In this verse, Jesus is telling John the whole outline for how the book of Revelation should be laid out. He says to John in that verse, "Write what you have seen, what is now, and what will take place later." Chapter 1 is what John has seen. He sees Jesus in his glorified body. Then in chapters 2 and 3, John writes what is now. He writes the 7 letters to the churches. And then John is to write what will take place later. This will actually be chapters 4 through 22. Now the words that are translated in English, take place later, are actually the Greek words Metatalta. The King James translates these two words as hereafter, and we only find them 3 times in the book of Revelation. Now, the meaning of Metatalta is that which has been accomplished. So once something is completed, something has been accomplished, then the next phase will take place. It's only after a completion will the next step be revealed. Metatalta is only spoken of 3 times in the book of Revelation. Chapter 1, verse 19, chapter 4, verse 1, and then chapter 9, verse 12. And there, it's after a woe has been completed or fully accomplished, then the next woe will take place. So, what does that mean? It means that when John was taken up into heaven, he saw what was going to be taking place after the church age has been completed. After chapters 2 and 3 are accomplished, then John sees what is going to happen in the future. So, John is seeing the tribulation period from the throne room perspective. Now, we know that we will not be a part of the tribulation. We know that because of Metatalta. Once the church age is completed, then we are ready for the next phase. But then also in Genesis chapters 18 and 19, we also understand what it means for judgment to come. Here, Sodom and Gomorrah are going to be destroyed. God and the angels come and meet with Abraham. And God tells Abraham that he's going to go down and destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of the sin that is there. Lot is in Sodom. And so Abraham talks to God and says, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the unrighteous? May it never be." And then he talks God all the way down from, if there's 50 righteous people in the city, will you spare the city? All the way down to 10. And God says, if there are 10 righteous people, I will spare the city. Well, the angels do not find 10 righteous people, but they take Lot by the arm and they lead him and his family out of the city of Sodom. Why? Because the angels tell Lot that we cannot do anything until you are gone. In other words, we cannot bring judgment upon the city until the righteous are removed. In chapter 6, judgments are revealed and judgments are to come upon the earth. Therefore, the church, those that are righteous because of Jesus, have to be brought out before the judgments come down. So in chapter 4, John sees from the throne room perspective. In chapter 5, Jesus, as the lamb that was slain, takes the scroll, and Jesus is able to open the scroll with the seals only because he is the one that is worthy. And in chapter 6, he opens the first seal. These seals are judgments. Now, as we read through the tribulation period, there are 3 series of judgments. There are 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and 7 bowls. These are brought upon the earth as judgment, and we as the church will not be there. But God is going to be judging the world and all those that have rejected Jesus. So now in chapter 6, the seals are broken. The first seal is broken, and John sees a white horse. And the rider on the white horse has a bow, a crown, and he is bent on conquest. This first seal reveals and opens the door for the Antichrist to now take control over the earth. The second seal is broken, and John sees a red horse and a rider on the red horse. Here, in this judgment, peace is removed from the earth, and the power for men to slay one another is brought upon the earth. The third seal is broken, and John sees a black horse, and its rider is holding a pair of scales. And here, there is hyperinflation brought upon the earth. people cannot even buy enough to eat. And then a fourth seal is broken, and a pale horse is seen, and that rider is named Death. And Hades, or hell, is close behind. And in this seal, 1/4 of those on the earth are destroyed by the sword, by plague, by famine, and by wild beasts. This is echoed in Ezekiel chapter 14, where judgment is given and people are killed on the earth by what? Famine, plague, sword, and wild beasts. This is a horrible time on the earth. Then a fifth seal is broken. And here, underneath the altar, we hear the voice cry of those that are martyred. They're asking the God, how long before justice comes? And then they are told to wait just a little while longer because those that are going to be martyred have not yet completed the full number. And so here in the sixth seal of the judgment, martyrs yet are going to be killed. And God is waiting for them to come to that number before judgment actually comes. God will bring righteousness upon the earth, and he will judge sin, and he will remember everything that has happened to those of us that have been called by his name. God has seen everything, and he will make everything right in his timing. And then a seventh seal is opened. This seventh seal now brings the next set of judgments upon the earth. So chapter 6 starts the Great Tribulation. The church, you and I, we will not be there. But God brings judgment at just the right time. God knows when it is the right time. So what do? We are patient. We thank the Lord for his goodness, and we wait for his timing always to take place because it is always just and it is always right. Thank you for joining the 2020 New Testament Challenge.